It's looking like most people agree that episode 4 was a bit of a sleeper or filler, which is interesting because this show only has 6 episodes. But I, for one, am moving into episode 5 with some cautious optimism as we hope to make some progress in these many questions still left unanswered. So let's break down this episode 5 trailer and see if we can tell what's to come in this next episode. And as always, if you enjoy videos like this, be sure to subscribe. Let's get to it. The trailer opens with Navarro seeing an image of what I can only assume is Julia as a little girl saying she's awake and pointing, followed by images of all the other visions she's seen of people doing this before. Next, we can hear Liz saying the Annie K case and the Tsalal cases are linked. Then we see Connelly saying, "This case is closed, Liz." And there's actually kind of a lot to take away from this short clip here. First, it's what Connelly is saying, that this case is closed. This leads me to believe that Connelly is going to share some news or findings from the Anchorage team now that they have presumably examined the bodies after taking them in episode 4. Connelly is likely explaining some cause of death here and closing the case, as Liz appears to be trying to persuade him to keep it open while they investigate the links between Annie K's death and the Tsalal men. Another thing I noticed about this scene is that our characters appear to be standing in a location that we haven't yet seen up to this point in the show. My first guess was the Tsalal station, but the walls and ceiling don't appear to match any shots we've seen of Tsalal up to this point. It does appear to be some kind of office space or something, and as I was trying to think of where else in town this might be, the only possibility I could come up with was the Silver Sky offices. Now, we've only seen the outside of this place from the vandalism scene in episode 4, but from what I can see through the front windows, it does kind of look like the same place with the same circular LED lights in the ceiling. Now, if that ends up being where they're at, the question is, why are Liz and Connelly there discussing these cases as opposed to the police station or Connelly's hotel room or literally anywhere else? Well, if we back up a few seconds in the trailer, we'll find Liz and Navarro approaching a mining site just as we hear Liz saying the two cases are connected. So my guess is that Liz and Navarro, likely with the help of Otis Heiss, have learned new information about Annie's case, and Liz went down to question Kate about it. Now, that doesn't explain why Connelly is there. He's either tagging along with Liz because he said he's going to help with the case, or he's already there when Liz arrives, which would mean that he's likely in cahoots with Kate and is being used to cover things up. Next, we see things escalating between the townspeople and the mines as they move in for more protesting, and this time we see Leah putting on face paint that we saw Annie wearing in images from episode 1. Then Liz says she needs to get how vulnerable she's making herself as we see a cop in riot gear hitting Leah with a nightstick. We also see a shot of Navarro in riot gear as the protesters are throwing black paint at the vehicle she's in. So it looks like Leah is going to continue to go all in on the protests, and the divide between her and Liz will continue to grow. We've also got a quick shot of Hank hitting something with an ice pick, and as he does, it looks like ice flies up in the air. Also, it's daylight during this shot, so considering the pacing of this show up to this point, which seems to be 1 day per episode, I would assume this must be a flashback. After this, we see Hank looking super suspicious back at the police station, so I'm continuing to believe he's up to no good here. Next, Liz tells Peter that he needs to learn when to stop asking questions, countering her typical narrative of asking the right questions. So it appears to me that Peter has stumbled onto something that Liz thinks he shouldn't have. Maybe Peter has found some truth about the mines or Annie's case, or something that puts him at risk of danger, and Liz is telling him that he's gone too far. That said, moments later, we see Peter in street clothes with his gun drawn, and again, the first thing I'm thinking is, where is he in this scene? Based on his clothes and the setting, he appears to be in someone's home with a somewhat unique shaped light behind him. So I started looking through past episodes, starting with his house, moving over to Hank's, and finally Liz's, where I'm pretty sure I found the exact same light. So for some reason, Peter is in Liz's house with his gun drawn in episode 5. Obviously, the right question to ask here is, who's on the other side of the gun, and why is Peter pointing it at him? And to that I'll say, I have no idea. It would be interesting if Peter found something on Danvers and is now having to take her down, which would kind of make sense based on what she just said to him about knowing when to stop asking questions. But really, it could be anyone, because Liz seems to be getting closer to solving both the Annie K and Tsalal cases, so maybe someone wants to take her out and Peter comes to the rescue. Of everything in the trailer, this is by far the thing I'm most interested in watching and learning more about in episode 5. Also, I'd put all my money on it being what happened happens at the very end of the episode, since they like to end each one at a climax. The trailer wraps up with a few quick shots of Liz, the spiral rock, Navarro having another kind of vision, and then saying, "We are this close," as Liz tells her, "It ends here, it's over." So it does look like things will finally start to move forward in these investigations as we go into the last 2 episodes of the season. I'm honestly feeling as excited about episode 5 as I was going into episode 1 because I'm just ready to start getting answers. All right, that'll do it for my thoughts. Let me know yours after seeing this trailer breakdown, and I hope to see you in my episode 5 breakdown later in the week. See ya.